Hi everyone, and welcome to this short lecture on your college consumerism paper. And I'm starting with this slide that you've seen before about writing is a process. You've already done your brainstorming. You wrote down everything that you could think of about college student consumers. And now it's time to organize that brainstorming into the bones of an essay. And you are going to want to first go through the brainstorming and look and see if there are any valuable ideas in that mess. And here's your mess. And chances are you're going to see 2 or 3 things that are worth focusing on. And if not, go back and brainstorm some more. Remember, writing is a recursive process. So you've got these 2 or 3 ideas that you're kicking around. And now ask yourself, what could I do with these ideas in terms of a thesis statement? In other words, what big point could I make about this for an audience? A point that's worthwhile for the audience to hear, a point that you have enough evidence to support. So that's how you go from the brainstorming to coming up with what we call the working thesis. Working means I'm thinking about this and I'm going to go with this for a while. And you are not married to the thesis statement that you put on your outline, which you're going to turn in before your final paper. It can change as you walk through the process. So after you've come up with your thesis statement, that might dictate what your topic sentences are going to be, because the topic sentences have to support the thesis. And then you can also fill in the rest of your outline, which is one of your assignments as well before you turn in your final draft. So you're still in this organizing stage. We'll get to the draft stage. Let's look at a couple pieces of advice on thesis statements. But before we do that, I want to go back to the assignment itself and answer some frequently asked questions. So this is a short essay that specifically addresses consumer habits of a college student. Because this is a short essay, you will have to narrow your topic. For example, you could just write about student spending on clothing. That's it. Or student spending on entertainment. Or student spending on Saturday night. Or you might want to talk about student spending on packaging, or students spending and the culture shock of being away from the parents. Whatever you want to do regarding college student spending is fine. Just make sure it's narrow enough that you can address it in 1 to 3 pages, and make sure that it's worthwhile for your audience. The other content requirements are here. You are going to need an introduction that grabs your audience's attention and has your thesis. You'll want at least 2 body paragraphs about the kind of consumerism that you're focusing on, or the particular topic you're focusing on, and at least 1 paragraph about the long-term implications of that consumerism, that spending, and then a conclusion that reinforces your point and has a final memorable thought. So that is the content, or those are the content requirements. I'm going to go to Blackboard now and just show you where I found that assignment. Over here on the Paper Instructions tab is where you will find the assignment, and you can go there and review it at any time. I also want to go down here to the bottom of week 2. Your assignment 2K asks you to do an outline for the essay. Before you do the outline, I highly recommend that you pay attention to these 2 resources here. And I'm going to open one up, actually. Thesis statement and topic sentences. So this explains that the thesis statement is kind of a mini roadmap to a paper. And it usually appears in the first paragraph. It can be written in a couple ways. It can be written as an announcement that announces the general main idea of the paper. And here's an example. Talking to plants is beneficial. Or it can be written as a forecast that includes the points that you're going to address. Talking to plants is beneficial because it helps plants to grow, gives oxygen to the environment, and makes humans happier. Or it can be written as a question mark, and I would highly recommend not doing that because that tends to be the hallmark of high school and grade school essays. I would not use that in a college essay. So those are the qualities of a thesis statement. And in your textbook, in the Hacker Handbook, there are some exercises that ask you to examine problems with thesis statements. And I think if you work through those, you will get a better idea of what a focused thesis statement is and what a relevant thesis statement is. So let's assume you've done the thesis statement, you've written your outline. Now you're going to go to your essay and you're going to write your essay. It's going to need an introduction and a conclusion. And again, there is information on Blackboard about that, and it's right here. And for example, elements of an introduction: get the reader's attention, connect with the audience, describe what you plan to write about, provide background, provide a clear thesis statement. And there are some examples of do's and don'ts for introductions in this slideshow here, and then some information on conclusions here. So take a look at those resources on Blackboard. They'll help you with this essay outlining process and with the essay writing process.